August 2018 was Halima Salisu's happiest month, or so she thought, when she got married to Abdullahi, her former husband, after falling in love with him at first sight at Gosa Market in Pape, a suburb area in Nigeria's national capital. With her parents' support, she tied the knot, ignoring the support of her mother-in-law, who wanted her son to marry from their tribe in Sabo, Kaduna State. A year in marriage and with a child, Abdullahi divorced her on the day of her second child's delivery due to the constant pressure from his mother. This was his second divorce.
He divorced me when I was 9 months pregnant. It was on the 14th of April 2019 at 5:30 p.m. He wrote on the paper that he had divorced me and told me to pack my load and leave the house. Then he left the house. I was still packing my load at 3 a.m. when contractions commenced. I tried standing up and I felt like something was about to drop from me. Then my baby came out and fell on the floor. Luckily, she was not hurt. I was so tired, but I had to cut the umbilical cord and bathe her. I take care of my children alone and sometimes with the support of my parents. Most times I am lonely and it is really hard taking care of them by myself. He no longer communicates with me.
Divorcing her was not the problem, but the manner in which it was done. In Islam, the Holy Quran allows for divorce as a last resort if all remedies have been pursued with no solution, and this can be done on 3 occasions, after which both parties can no longer be together. But in Halima's case, Abdullahi divorced her orally thrice and at once, which contravenes the provision of Islam. Chapter 2 verse 229 of the Holy Quran states that the divorce is twice. After that, either you retain her on reasonable terms or release her with kindness. And verse 230 further says, and if he has divorced her the third time, then she is not lawful to him thereafter until she has married another man. An Islamic scholar, Dr. Bashir Umar, told Premium Times a divorce ought to take place one after the other, which includes several conditions.
Yeah, according to the Sharia, a man is allowed to divorce his wife, but he has to observe a number of conditions. He has to divorce her only once, not more than once, because there are three numbers of divorce that a man can make to a woman, but he has to do it one after the other.
Not only did Abdullahi divorce her, he neglected his responsibilities of catering for his 2 daughters. This also flouts the provisions of the Quran on divorcing a pregnant woman in chapter 65 verse 6, which states, and if they are pregnant, provide for them maintenance until they have delivered their burden. And if they suckle your offspring, whom they bore you, then give them due recompense, and graciously settle the question of compensation between yourselves by mutual understanding. Halima is among the many women in Pape who have either been divorced or abandoned by their husbands. The chief imam in the community, Haruna Idris, said he noticed the alarming trend in 2019 when cases of family conflict that he intervened in grew. According to him, before 2019, he had at most 2 family conflict issues, but now he gets at least 10 cases every month, and out of these, he succeeds to solve a maximum of 4, while 6 or more families break up. Explain the reasons for the divorces, he said.
Every household is living within the income that the family is generating. But in some cases, some women would like to imitate the life that other families have engaged to. And this will cause a kind of problem within the wife and a husband. Number 2, there is what we call parental negligence, grooming your children. You must have it within your mind that with time they are going to be someone's wife. In terms of men aspect, to be realistic, 70% of men are living a kind of lazy life. They don't want to suffer before they make it in life. They suspend their personal responsibility on the women. Number 2, Some men are not contented with the wife they marry. By the time they marry a wife, they have 1-2 issue with them. Then they will start looking for other women outside and forget about the one they have initially at home, without even thinking about the suffering they involved into at the initial stage. And these are the highest percentage of the cases I have witnesses.
Similarly, the woman leader of the community, Aisha Saidu, lamented on the growing menace.
I noticed it year 2020 because mostly hearing complaints from women. They have divorced me, they have divorced me. I said, what is the case of this divorcing issue like this? I started talking to Muslim brothers like Malim, the chief imam of the area. That is how I take note that the divorcee is much in Pape than the other communities. The one I know recent, I have almost 6 cases between January 2002 to this February.
Divorced with 8 children, her mysterious attraction to her husband made Maimunat Ibrahim choose him among 2 other men that wanted to marry her while they were in Nigeria's north-central state, Plateau. She got married to him in 1981 and then relocated to northwestern state of Kano. He lost his job after relocation, while the family survived on Maimunat's food and poultry businesses.
I gave him the profits I saved over time to travel to Abuja and look for work so that he will be supporting us from there. He left for Abuja in 2000 and I did not hear from him again. In 2002, I came to Abuja pregnant to look for him with my 6 children and found him through my nephew, also living in Abuja. He explained to me that he has stopped communicating because he got married to another woman. He then divorced this woman and we got 3 rooms in one compound in Lugbe.
Months later, he remarried another woman in 2017. He lived with his first family in the same compound and she had a daughter for him. He abandoned his first wife again, but this time with another child and an oral divorce, said 3 times.
He stopped providing for me and my children, and he kept saying he does not have money, although he was working as the personal driver of the former president Olusegun Obasanjo while he was spending his money outside.
Ibrahim, in his usual habit, divorced his 3rd wife and married his 4th wife in June 2021. His children were equally affected as they either did not attend the school or dropped out. Umar, the Islamic scholar, explained that this is wrong.
After the waiting period, if there are children between them, the fostering is the responsibility of the mother, and the children will be in her custody. She has custody of them.
Okay.
While she has custody of them, he only has to spend on the upkeep and maintenance of the children. But he has to provide accommodation for her because of the children.
Christians too. In Pape's settlements, although divorce and separation are said to be rampant among the Muslims, the menace equally affected some Christians living there, as seen with Pauline Ezekiel, residing in Ruga, an area in the community. For better or worse, part of the vow exchange in a Christian wedding was gladly said on the day Miss Pauline and her second husband wedded in 2013. But the practicality of these words meant nothing to him when he later abandoned her in 2015 after discovering their newborn was mentally impaired.
My daughter was really sick. She was like an imbecile. So he said he cannot use an imbecile to start life. I really suffered with my daughter for 2 years and 6 months before she could start working as a child. I was going from one hospital to another. So that was the main reason the father ran away. She was just 3 months old when I noticed that the neck could not stand again. I was thinking maybe it's meningitis. I rushed to the hospital. Took her all over one hospital to the other before God finally helped me. She's better now. He went to marry another woman. I was even pregnant for the second one when he went to marry. I didn't want to look for any war or fight because the condition my daughter is was even enough for me to face. I was battling with that. When I put to bed, it was not still bed, the second child. That is how we have been living. He doesn't care for his daughter. He doesn't pay school fees. He doesn't know how his daughter feeds. He doesn't know anything about it. After the stress, I was sick. I was having partial paralysis. So I'm just regaining myself.
Solving divorce sword menace. While divorce and separation cases soar in this Abuja community, Sokoto State government in northwest part of Nigeria have however found a solution, as explained by Habiba Hamad, Director of Gender in Sokoto State Ministry of Women Affairs. She said providing call lines for the women to lodge their complaints directly, giving them empowerment skills and startup grants for their businesses, and support from religious leaders have contributed to the success they've had over time. Exploring remarrying option. Being divorced does not stop one from having a desired love life. Although Maimuna cited her age as a limiting factor, 52-year-old Pauline still hopes to remarry. For Halima, it is a different case. With brightened eyes and a coy smile, she gushed about her new boyfriend and her journey to finding love again.
I'm currently dating someone from Kano State. I met him in GRA Lube, where he sells fabric in September 2019. He accepted me completely and even constantly contributes to my children's upkeep. Although I'm not happy that another man is taking care of my children and not their father.
She said she will marry him when her second daughter, who is currently 1, turns 3, and when she is more financially stable, as she hopes to start selling clothing materials if she gets support.